Nintendo's first-party franchises are spoken of in hushed whispers, like they're some sort of sacred cow. You've got Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Punch-Out, Fire Emblem, Kid Icarus. Did I already say Metroid? Animal Crossing, and of course, its bastard red-headed stepchild, Star Fox. They released the first one on the Super Nintendo, and it was met with overwhelming success. So of course, they greenlit a sequel that was once again met with overwhelming success. Wait, no it wasn't. They canceled it after they already finished the game, and instead opted to release a game on the Nintendo 64. And they called it, fittingly, Star Fox 64. Once again, they created a bona fide classic. It redefined the genre, and everyone was thrilled with it. Even to this day, everyone loves it. It's still one of the best games on the entire system. So when the GameCube came out, they were poised to drop another Star Fox game. So of course they did what anyone would do. They took all the parts of the game that were fun, screwed those up, added a bunch of crap nobody liked, pushed it out with a bunch of hype, and made everyone really angry. It's called Star Fox Adventures, and everybody freaking hates that game. So what did Nintendo do? Did they learn from their mistakes? Hell no, they didn't. They made another game where they took the parts everybody hated, made them worse, took the parts everybody liked, cut those down to the minimal amount. They pooped it out onto the freaking public, and they called it Star Fox Assault. Came out in 2006. And why did I even bother to play this freaking game? Because the freaking viewers of this channel voted for me to play it. They picked it in a multi-round tournament and forced me to play this game. Over a lot of other great and fantastic games. It beat out games like Resident Evil 4 and Cult of the Lamb. Star Fox Assault, a game of notorious repute, was chosen for me to play. I'm just really pissed off about this game, and I'm gonna talk about it. I'm RNG Gamer, I play all my games randomly, except for when you guys force me to play one. Now this is on the Nintendo Gamecube, like I mentioned, and it looks fine. And it sounds pretty freaking good. It has some epic but forgettable music. The characters that you know from the other Star Fox games, well, they're all here again, plus some new ones. They are as annoying as ever, but that's to be expected. I knew about them before going into this, and I expected them to just really be irritating, and they sure freaking were. Now, I have literally zero idea what happened in the plot of this game. Some crap about Star Fox, whatever his name is, he has to upload some kind of computer virus into an AI that's taken over something. I wasn't really paying attention. I was too mad and too busy complaining to the chat while I live streamed this game. So don't fault me too much for not knowing what's going on, okay? Now that the aesthetics are out of the way, let me inundate you with the massive litany of issues in this game. And keep in mind, although I'm going extensively into my personal issues, there still isn't enough time in this video to go over all the ways that this game freaking pissed its pants at the high school prom. Okay, there's just not enough time for it. It's too much of a disaster. Issue number one, the game doesn't even really freaking tell you how to play it. Now, before you tell me that it definitely does, let me tell you why it doesn't. There are 3 modes of gameplay throughout the 10 story missions of this game. The first is the standard freaking Star Fox rail shooting, the way you do it normally in the other Star Fox games. The second is the same thing, but you're flying around in 3D space in dogfight scenario. And the third is the running around on the ground on foot and sometimes in vehicles, battlefield scenarios. They all play really differently, and hell, the freaking controls even change between the different modes. But what they do have in common is just an absolute hellstorm of bullcrap, okay? Freaking hundreds of enemies flying around, crashing into you, shots blasting you from off screen, infinitely respawning enemy portals, shields you can't figure out how to take down, timed missions, and there's always some sort of objective or maneuver you're required to do. You gotta shoot the robot with a bomb, or take down the shields, or save Flappy, or do a barrel roll. And I was constantly freaking failing these because I couldn't figure out how to do it. Couldn't figure out how to do it as in I didn't know which freaking buttons to press on the controller, okay? I couldn't figure out what buttons. Why? Because the game doesn't really even freaking tell you. If you've ever been to any of my live streams, you know I have freaking technical difficulties all the time. And they're usually primarily centered around getting the flippin' webcam to work. I bought a Logitech Brio and it looked terrible. So I started using this camera, the one right here, and it looks okay, but it's not like a webcam and it has a really hard time syncing up with OBS, which is the software used to stream. I have to restart OBS, I have to restart the camera, I have to resync them, and eventually it just kind of sort of works, but it might take 15 or 20 minutes. I've been late to live stream because I can't get the freaking camera to work. So when today's sponsor, OBSBot, reached out to me to ask if I wanted to try out their new webcam, the Meet SE, brother, you better believe I jumped on that as soon as I could. This is a remarkably small but sturdy webcam that comes in 3 different colors. It comes with OBSBot's signature AI tracking. It will actually follow you around as you move in the frame, which is amazing, not having to adjust your camera all the time. It also includes a hand gesture control that you can use to zoom in and out, which blew everybody's mind on my stream because it's really nice to be able to adjust that without having to reach up and adjust your camera while people are watching you live. It delivers video at 1080p, 100 frames a second, or 720p with 150 frames a second. It works great in a variety of lighting situations, low light, or even having lights blast you in the face from a foot away like you do when you live stream. It's held on the mount with a magnet, a surprisingly strong magnet, but it does have the 1/4-inch standard camera mount if you want to use one of those. Now this camera is way better as a webcam than any of the other cameras I've tried, which actually makes me pretty angry because I've spent so much money on that other equipment and I didn't really need to. The camera also integrates with the OBSBot Center, so you can get that bokeh focus, you can change the positioning, you can change the aspect ratio, and there's even beauty mode. Let me tell you, we had a great time with beauty mode. I love the fact that it gets rid of some of the old wrinkles on RNG Gamer's face. I'm getting up there. I'm not as young as I once was, and this really helps out making me look, better on stream. It works perfectly with OBS, Twitch, Kick, Zoom, all the standard applications. It just works. And that's what you need if you're streaming, because you don't have time to troubleshoot before the stream and you don't want to be troubleshooting during the stream. And best of all, it's $69. $69. I've been using it to live stream, and I'm gonna continue to use it to live stream after this sponsorship is over. If you're interested in getting one of these little $69 wonders, the links are in the description below. You should definitely go check them out and check out the different colors. So buried in the annoying dialogue of the stupid side characters, the thing they're really known for, they're like, do a barrel roll, all that crap, they actually say what you need to do. Like, shoot the bomb, Fox, or stop the missile, Fox. Or they'll tell you how to do some freaking maneuver, okay? But I never heard them say it because the other 90% of the time, they're just freaking flying around yapping nonstop. They're just constantly complaining and getting in trouble, so I just tuned them out. And you're trying to avoid all the bullcrap that's happening around you, complete whatever objective you think you're supposed to be doing, manage the freaking stupid controls of the game, and just survive. And I don't have the freaking mental bandwidth to listen to the crap that some NPC character is sometimes spouting at me in the middle of their other bullcrap dialogue. Let me put this situation in like a real world scenario for you. Let's say you're on a family trip, a vacation in a new town, a place you're not familiar with, and the GPS on your phone is freaking wrong. It's glitching out, it's not telling you where to go. And you ask your wife to look it up on her phone. Too bad, she's been scrolling Instagram the entire trip and her phone is dead, so she has to find a charger to plug it in. You're stressed out on the freaking highway, you don't know where to go, and you're just praying that her iPhone has a better map than your Android. She's digging in her purse looking for her proprietary Apple charger, and then she doesn't know where to plug it in your car because she's never had to do it before. So you're trying to open the freaking console to explain to her that in the front, like underneath the napkins and the baby wipes, there's like a USB port, but like mine's plugged into that, so you have to find the one that's like in between it and the front, and you're like reaching down there with your hand, grabbing her hand and like trying to put her thumb on the USB port. And she keeps trying. She has like a 50% chance of plugging the USB cable incorrectly, but she can't get it right. She's gotten it wrong like 7 times in a row. And so have you, and you can't figure out what's wrong, and maybe you're not plugging into the USB port. Maybe there's some other kind of port down in this dark dark abyss between the seats, and you never even knew it was there. You realize in the middle of this that you're driving like 40 miles an hour on the highway, and that you are pretty sure, you're 90% sure that the exit up ahead is the one you're supposed to take. But your wife keeps yelling at you and saying, no, that's not the one. That's not the freaking exit. I know it's not. And you're like, I know it's the freaking exit. And there are cars driving by, blasting their freaking horns at you, trying to zip around you because you're slowing down traffic. The baby in the back seat starts freaking crying because she dropped her teddy bear down in the floorboard and can't reach it, and you can't reach it. And also you realize she's soaking wet because she spilled her freaking milk all over herself. And in the middle of this, your older daughter, who's right behind you, starts talking in your ear about what she's doing in Minecraft. See, she's been playing on her Nintendo Switch this whole time, and there's a new update. Now they've added armadillos to the game. There's a whole bunch of crap they've done, and she needs to let you know about it, and she asks you if she should put pink carpet or blue carpet in her new little house that she's built. Finally, your wife gets the phone plugged in, it's turned on, but it has to install an update. So guess what? You make a split-second decision, you take that exit that your wife is yelling at you not to take. Despite her protest, you're like, this is it. I know this is it. I'm 100% sure this is the exit. Turns out, you were wrong, and the exit was 15 miles back the other way, and your wife was right the whole time. And now, you're stuck in the middle of town, in traffic, because a Major League Baseball game just finished, and everybody's trying to get out of the stadium. As you're sitting there tapping the steering wheel, trying to ignore everyone around you, you get the notification that you're low on gas. And you know 100% you're not going to be able to make it to a gas station because of the traffic. And you turn and you look at your wife, and you swear you can see actual flames in her pupils. Now, in that entire nightmare scenario, what if I told you the most important thing that happened in all of that was your daughter telling you about something she was building in Minecraft? And that whole cacophony of bullcrap, that little tidbit, that was the secret to the whole situation. That was going to solve the whole problem. That was the objective of what you were supposed to actually be doing. I didn't hear that crap. I'm an expert at zoning that stuff out. It goes right in one ear and out the other. I'm a father. I'm a teacher. I'm a master at ignoring nonsense like that. And that's the whole key to Star Fox Assault. Buried in those little quips is like the important information you need to succeed. The objective, or how to do some maneuver. And I didn't even know that until the freaking end of the game, where I kept failing over and over and over again. And how is that even possible? Because the game is poorly designed.
I didn't hear at all what they wanted me to do.
It never really requires you to use what it teaches you until it does. Hell, I didn't even know half the controls. I was just stumbling my way through the whole freaking game. And it didn't really matter. Until I would fail apart repeatedly. And when I failed, it was always because I didn't know how to shoot a bomb or shake off an enemy. Or I didn't know where to go because I didn't really need to. A good game teaches you a technique, gives you opportunities to master it, then tests you on what you learned. Star Fox Assault makes you take a math test, and in the middle of it, the teacher tells another student that there may be a history test later. Then in the middle of the math test, she tells you to stop, picks up your math test, passes out a history test on crap you didn't even know existed, and tells you you are responsible for making sure the classmates around you also pass the history test. And while you're trying to help them, the teacher announces to everyone that you've all failed because there was a 15-minute time limit you didn't even know existed. This also causes you to fail the math test for some freaking reason, and you have to redo the entire day of school. That's how this game works. It puts you in a scenario you're unfamiliar with, asks you to master the controls that it didn't really teach you how to use, expects you to babysit all of the other NPCs around you and keep them alive. And the whole time they're just yelling at you orders of how you can help them. You can't focus on the objectives you need to do because you're busy helping them. Crap's crashing into you. There's enemies all over the place. You let like half your squad die, and then you just get a notification that it was mission failed? You dumb, you didn't shoot down the shield. When did you tell me to shoot down the shield? When did that ever even happen? Having to babysit and rescue your teammates sucks. It's happening all the time, and I don't like it. The checkpoints in some of the stages are an hour apart, and if you die, you have to repeat it all. That really sucks.
God, I hate this game.
The first night I streamed this game, I played through half of it, no problem. The next stream, I spent almost the entire stream trying to beat one section of one mission, because I just kept failing, and it took like 45 minutes to even get that far. And they make you do it all again? Why can't you just respawn with one of your 3 lives right where you're at? And if you run out of all your lives and you have to continue, you gotta do the whole stage again. And that's fine if the stages weren't so freaking long. Sometimes they're like 15 minutes long, sometimes they're like 90 minutes long. The ground portions of this game, they're some of the worst gameplay I've ever experienced in my entire life. They control terribly. They flip all the controls, the buttons you have to press on the controller, around. They're not the same as they were in the flying sections. You have to awkwardly shift through all these different freaking weapons. Half of them are like useless. They keep giving you a sniper rifle when you're being assaulted by enemies that just run straight into you. You don't have time to aim at them with a freaking sniper rifle. And they all run out of ammo really quickly, and the enemies, they take like 1,000,000 shots to kill. The game is designed around you like knowing where on the map where all the weapon drops are and like acquiring those all. So you're set up for a certain part, like go over here into this cave and gather these freaking weapons and then run all the way across the giant map and then like kill one of the 52 targets they want you to take out. This is the part of the game everybody talks about hating immensely, and they are right. It's by far the worst part of the game. Not saying the rest of the game's good, but these are really bad. Really bad. Every freaking button on the GameCube controller does a very specific action. And these flip-flop, like I said, between the different modes. A is shoot when you're in the ship, but it's right bumper to shoot in the ground mode. And all the other buttons change too. Changing weapons, doing maneuvers. It's just a lot to keep track of. But that's not even the biggest downfall of this stupid game. The biggest problem with this game is a nitpick, but it is the hugest nitpick in the entire world. And I've just gotta tell you about it. You need to hear about this bullcrap. You are constantly, this entire game, having to shoot down enemies by locking onto them. Okay, a lot of enemies have armor or they move around too quick to just shoot them down. So you hold down the A button, that will bring up a reticle. When you move the reticle over them, it locks onto them and you do a stronger attack. Now your standard shot is just A, tapping A, all right? And this flips around vice versa based if you're on the ground. So substitute A for the right trigger, okay? Now, the faster you tap, the faster you shoot, and the game is built around you freaking pressing the A button super fast, okay? Now, this whole stupid ass game, I pretty much just locked onto stuff. I mean, if there are little tiny enemies around, little popcorn enemies as you call them, yeah, sure, you shoot with your normal shot, but mainly the game focuses on you locking onto stuff. That's how you beat like all the bosses. But on the last boss fight of the game, they switch it up on you. You can't lock on. You have to tap shoot. And that's freaking fine if it didn't take 15 minutes. There are these eyes that you have to shoot to close. And if you don't go fast enough, they start opening back up. So you have to tap and tap and tap really fast and constantly. And if you die, you repeat the entire fight. So 15 more freaking minutes of constant tapping. My hands got so tired from tapping that I almost couldn't hold the controller anymore.
My hands are too tired.
It got so bad I couldn't even tap fast enough to succeed at the boss. And it caused me to fail 4 times in a row. So almost an hour of constantly tapping. I had to put my controller in my lap and use other parts of my hand to tap the A button because I just didn't literally have the muscle strength in my hands to do it, which is freaking crazy because I'm a semi-professional guitarist and I have like really strong hands and a lot of endurance, but something about that ability in Star Fox, I just couldn't do it. It was so difficult that during my live stream, I was complaining about how my shoulder was hurting because I was like doing this nonstop for almost a freaking hour, okay? That looked really good, but that's what it was like. Everybody else saw it, you might as well could see it too. And here we are 3 days later, and my freaking hands still hurt. And my right wrist is so sore that I think I might actually have to go to the freaking doctor. No joke. Now let me ask you, why did that even have to happen? It's because Nintendo wanted shoot and lock on to be the same button. I guess to make the game simpler or to keep it in line with the other Star Fox games. But here's the problem, you can't have auto fire. You can't hold down the shot button because it becomes the lock on button. Well then why don't you just make the freaking B button lock on like it is in every other rail shooter that's ever been made. Make A auto fire, make the B button lock on. The B button's assigned to bomb, which I did like 5 times in the entire game. I used the bombs so little that in like the second half of the game when I had to use a bomb to complete a mission, I didn't even know how to use a bomb.
Yeah, I see that. I don't understand how to use the bomb.
I had to go online and look up how to use a bomb on Google because the game never made me do it. I even know it was a button. Here I am hammering the freaking A button nonstop for hours and never touching the B button at all. So because you want to assign something I never do to an entire button, I have to hit the A button 50,000 times? Okay, Nintendo. Okay, all right, fine. I hated this game and almost every single thing about it.
Mother freaking God, there better not be a damn... Oh, my hands are so tired. My heart is beating in my ears. I hated it so much. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so glad it's over. I'm so glad it's over.
Freaking RNG gamer, but you don't understand. You don't know how to play Star Fox or freaking know the Star Fox lore. That stuff's really important. You have to understand that to really appreciate the game. Fine. The game never required me to learn it, and it never instructed me on how to do it. But it still let me win for 90% of the game. That's not how you make a good game. It tells you you're doing a piss poor job the whole time, yet it still just promotes you on to the next level. Nothing was learned, no skills were gained until you get to the end, where it's like, let me test you on everything that's ever happened. And you're like, listen, I appreciate all your knowledge and the amount of effort that went into all this, but I didn't learn a damn thing during the entire course of this game. It is a game's job to point you in the direction of how to play it. It may not have to say it directly, but it sure can't say it indirectly while it's asking you to do other stuff. This game sucked. At no point did I have a good time. At no point was I really enjoying it. And it freaking physically injured me. I can barely move my wrist, okay? Barely. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It was literally painful.